Hello, welcome to Capybellum. Today I have a interesting game for you in which I use the quick teleport perk from round 2 to create some interesting situations for my opponent. Here's our choice for a specialist. I tend to really like the speed specialist. I think speed is a tough stat to get. There's only one way to buff it, and it's spending 50 supply every round. I think having that permanent 3 speed can be really impactful on a lot of different unit types. Maybe not quite in this game, but I love having the option. I feel like it enables things like Wraiths and Saber-Tooths when you need them to really um, play better when you're doing something standard like this. As you can see, I am playing Stormcallers up against sledges. Usually that's a pretty good situation. And I like having hounds and Shaft Clear in general when I have Stormcallers, because while Stormcallers can clear chaff somewhat, they really want to be hitting big targets. They're a big TPS unit on larger models. And you'll see they rack up a good amount of damage this game, because my opponent never really gets an opportunity to go anti-missile device, and I just kind of let these two Stormcallers ride. I never press the issue on them, because I don't want him to press that button. If I build more Stormcallers, it's going to be a good value for him, but if I just stay with these two, all the enemy's going to be thinking like, man, I could intercept these missiles, but then if my opponent sells them, well, that's just a waste of tech. So that's generally my line of thinking here. Round 2, nothing much to comment on round 1, but round 2 we get quick teleport. And I just decide, this game I'm flanking all day. It's time to go flanking. So I love hounds on the flank. As you can see, my opponent put their crawlers pretty close. Generally, you don't want to put the crawlers this close to the flank. You want to have some space. Because now these hounds, no matter what, they're going to be getting some value. Even if he crushes this flank further on, these hounds will still get a shot off and take out some of his chaff, The rest of the battle hasn't changed very much, but look at these crawlers just being pulled into the flank. Those hounds get a ton of value this round, and save me a lot of damage, because, spoilers, that's a lot of sledges left alive, and we're not gonna be able to clean that up. Though, it's looking kinda nice. I'm afraid of that marksman getting in range. Yep, there goes one. And unfortunately, that little pack of crawlers that moved, they're going to be very impactful here. They're gonna save the round. Look at these guys go. Yeah, this Stormcaller is just defenseless against this little guy. Run! Run away! Round 3 here. Some interesting unit pickups. My opponent goes for a level 3 Tarantula, which I found kind of odd. I don't have a ton of chaff, but the Tarantula, it has fantastic stats. It's level 3, so I understand there. But I pick up a couple Phoenixes in the back, which I think I needed to kind of break through these sledgehammers a little faster. And I go for a double wasp flank on the left side, one on the shallow and one on the deep. And then I went for a missile on that sledge line because it was a little vulnerable. And I always try and keep an eye out, because that's a great use of 50 supplies. It kind of hurts spending money on something temporary like that, but experience is permanent. And when a missile gets a good kill like that, it spreads experience out to your whole army, and that can really pay off. The wasps did great. My opponent just didn't have much anti-air, and typically when you do a play like this, the main thought in my mind is they're going to buy Mustangs, right? Because Mustangs are just fantastic against wasps. They're great flank defenders because they clear really fast and then have the movement speed to get back into the battle. So I'm thinking, what do I want to do about the Mustangs coming in? And I decide I'm gonna go for level 2 Phantom Raid on this turn. And the idea is next turn I can click the armor enhancement, and that's a big problem for him. So now he's probably aware that Phantom Raids with armor, great counter to Mustangs, so he needs to add something else. And I'm just forcing him to keep adding more to this flank, you know? We're both really committing to this fight on the left. Meanwhile, I'm still sort of winning on this fight on the right. Now, I get completely destroyed by this wasp drop down. I was just wide open. It's a pretty bad mistake. But I was just so excited about that fire drop that I completely blanked and wasn't thinking about the wasps coming in. And I'm gonna lose a round basically because of that. I think it might have been a win-in if I didn't lose that early tower. But, you know, it happens, it happens. Underground threats, fantastic. It's a lot of chaff for only 50. Deployments are really valuable, and just being able to drop like a couple free packs of crawlers in one round is really nice to let you push for a big unit. My opponent uses that philosophy here and takes this turn to set up an overlord. I think this is a good response. It is positioned well so it can kind of crush these Phantom Rays and then still be relevant in the fight forward. And you can see these Mustangs with the extra splash damage perk doing a great job against the wasps on the shallow flank. So he's winning the side battle pretty definitively here. But I like forcing my opponent to play a bunch of stuff on one side, because it allows me to do cheeky plays where I start selling the flank and then he's overcommitted on one side and I can start pushing another. So even though we're losing the round here, I'm not panicking yet. We still have a lot of health. If we lose another round here, that's when I'm going all in, going for wild plays, stuff like that. For now, I'm just gonna keep being a thorn in his side. I'm gonna set up this shield, which I love grabbing these shields when I have a flank. You can't put shields on the flank any other way. You need to use this drop down. I think it's an awesome utility, for an otherwise not super exciting drop down. Most drop downs are more impactful than just a shield for slightly cheaper. So this turn I'm recognizing I could really use some more chaff clear, so I'm gonna start supporting my main army better. I've been putting a lot into that flank. Now I'm just gonna let it ride and develop more hounds. My camera doesn't pan to it much this game, but I also put hounds on the top right flank. You can see I move my mouse there to show that. They got great value because of those crawlers that were connected directly to their back right flank. Every round they were clearing those crawlers and then some, and that just compounded over the course of the whole game. And I can see with just a couple level 2 hounds purchased, that change in chaff clear just changed the whole equation. You know, my opponent's still worrying about this deep flank, but I'm also worried about it. And with this quick deploy, I decide I'm throwing a Vulcan here, you know? It looks scary because there's that overlord, but my thought process is but Vulcan could clear out all of those Mustangs before the Overlords get to kill him. And that would be huge because those Mustangs are starting to level up. Those are sort of his secondary carry to the Overlords. The Overlords are definitely the main threat, but we need an answer to those Mustangs as well. The Hounds do a pretty good job. I'm happy to throw in Vulcans as well. I put a Vulcan on the right, just to slowly win the right side, add something else for my opponent to be thinking about. And you'll see my opponent goes for Typhoons here, still just crushing this flank, right? But spending so much money to do it. That's 900 worth of deployments that he's developed on this side. Meanwhile, I threw 400 in a Vulcan. It didn't end up doing much, but because I didn't throw both Vulcans on that side, you can see the Vulcan on the right side is being very effective, and we're still clearing his chaff. Our Stormcallers are still doing their job. The Phoenixes are good against these Typhoons, and we're sort of cleaning up. It's a very even match. I found this match very fun. I love when there's a nice back and forth like this. Capybellum in general, just... I think it's a fantastic game. There's so much depth in the amount of different strategies you can commit to. There's that randomness factor with the cards. So every once in a while you get something really silly and you're like, okay, I gotta go for it. Oh, you can see the glitchy little cinematic camera here. I like playing around with it. Hit by Stormcallers. A very close fight there, the Overlord. Just gets out ahead. And my opponent's stacking their deployments of Wasps here. That's a really interesting play. I think it's pretty good, though I did commit already to anti-air Wasps. So I think my opponent would also need to click that tech. So that they're not outranged in the Wasp versus Wasp battle. But my opponent doesn't know I'm going to commit into more Wasps here. But my thought process is, you put so much commitment into all these Typhoons on the left. I'm just gonna start selling my left flank and use my tech Wasps on other parts of the board where they could be way more effective, right? So I recruit some level 2 Wasps and I just spread them around this whole right side. My opponent's right tower is very open at this point, and we could really punish him by combining this fire to clear the chaff, and these Wasps here. As you can see, the enemy Wasp flank is very effective. It clears some of my Stormcallers. However, these Wasps in the front, because of their extended range and anti-aerial tech, they're able to turn around and defend even when they're placed pretty forward. And that's a huge boon. I really like combining those two techs. Wasps really make great use of range. There's a perk card that I almost never take that adds plus 10 range, but I love taking it when I am going Wasps. There's just something about it. And there we go! That's a great example of how you can win a game without changing your composition and just changing your positioning, right? My opponent was very scared all game of this flank, and rightfully so. It was being very effective for a while, but they kept overcommitting to the defense, and they left an opening on the right, and that's how the game goes. I had a lot of fun. I think my opponent played well, and I'm looking forward to make more videos like this. I truly love Capybellum, and I'm in this for the love of the game. I am using like a voice changer and a little VTuber model, just for the sake of my own enjoyment. I always wanted to learn how to like edit YouTube videos, and I'm going to use this as an opportunity because I've just been loving this game the past few months, and I want to share that enjoyment with you guys. So let me know if you guys like this video, what you'd like changed. I'm still pretty new to this, so uh, I'm very open to suggestions, like audio balancing. I want to get right. It's going to take a little bit of configuring, but I want to try uploading every day or two to share the most exciting game I played over that course of the time. Thanks for watching. Welcome to Capybellum, and you have a great day.